Hello, Durud and Shalom. We be live.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to give you the breaking news that's happened in the last 24 hours, and then we're going to discuss the MOU so that all of your confusion is finally lifted, because the MOU is actually quite tricky. It doesn't mean what it actually means. We're going to clear that up. So starting off with the breaking news today, let's bring Armin up. All right, we're going back to the map. I've been doing my homework, and here we are. So, the 60-day negotiations have begun today, as reported by Vice President J.D. Vance. The 60-day period has begun, and it looks like the nuclear negotiations are actually going to begin this weekend, apparently. So they're getting right on top of it. Now let's see if that actually happens. And at the same time, Trump also made a statement today, and he said that if Israel were to get in a kerfuffle with the Islamic Republic of Iran, that he would absolutely back Israel and defend them. Some interesting statements here. Additionally, we have statements from Mojtaba Khamenei, who's finally come out and revealed himself in none other than a text statement. So he's still hiding away. And he has said, basically, keep in mind, guys, he's not verified, so he can't actually type more than a small paragraph. So let's scroll on down to the comments here for him to say that, yes, I, as a matter of principle, held a different view. However, out of the commitment that the esteemed president, Masoud Pezeshkian, as the head of the Supreme National Security Council, gave to me on his own behalf and on behalf of the other members regarding the rights and blah, 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 I granted my permission. Quite interesting. I, the supreme leader, had a different opinion, but because Pezeshkian, the president of the Islamic Republic of Iran, who is a complete puppet and has no real power, said so, then I say so. What do you think about that, Armin?
Who predicted exactly this?
It's quite strange.
No, who predicted this?
I don't know.
I predicted this happening exactly. Guys, let me know in the chat. Did I not come and say they're fattening up Pezeshkian so that when eventually they need to become flexible to the Americans, the supreme leader will come out and say, hey guys, the president made me do it, and I am a people's person. I did not want to do this, but given that we are a real democracy, right, and the people have voted for Pezeshkian, given that Pezeshkian wanted this, and this is a country that abides by the will of the people, then I had no choice but to give in to what the guys. Did I not tell you that when they are making Pezeshkian a bigger deal than he is, they're getting ready to submit to the Americans? Did I not say this? Did I not say, guys, they're saying, oh, Pezeshkian ordered the internet to be turned on. Who the fuck is Pezeshkian and what authority they is? I told you guys that, yep, they're increasing the blames on Pezeshkian. They're increasing the lies about how influential and how much authority he has. Immediately after I said that, Pezeshkian came out and tried to resign. I was like, he figured out what's happening and he's trying to get out, and they're not going to let him. They didn't let him. And I kept on showing you the meme, I'm in danger. And then yesterday when he came and signed the MOU and he was holding it, I was like, look, he's not happy. He knows what they're doing to him. I told you that Ghalibaf knew that he shouldn't have his signature next to President Trump's signature. And that's why they made Pezeshkian do it. And Pezeshkian knows that he's being sacrificed. The only reason Pezeshkian signed it is because they made him, because nobody else wants the signature next to President Trump's signature. And I knew, like, it's getting closer to what I predicted, which then eventually the Supreme Leader comes and says, guys, it was not me, it was Pezeshkian. We're a democracy. People voted for him. Even though I disagree with this, but I submit to the will of the people. I told you that they're going to compare this to what Imam Ali did 1400 years ago, but I'm not going to go into theology right now, religious mumbo jumbo. But this is, I mean, this is obvious. This is so obviously so. I mean, even here's Ali. Here's what's interesting about this. Okay, this not only shows that I was correct about what the office of the supreme leadership would put out there, I was also wrong about being wrong, because I thought that maybe I made a mistake, because I thought like the news came out that it's going to be Ghalibov meeting with Vance and doing a signing ceremony. I was like, oh, I didn't think that Ghalibaf would agree to that, given that how devastating that would be for him. And like maybe he doesn't have as much influence as I thought, and he's basically the Americans are making him sign, knowing how bad this would be to him. But why would they embarrassing this much, given that they want him to be able to make this work internally as well? And then I was like, no, I was wrong about being wrong. I was actually right. Ghalibaf is going to make Pezeshkian sign it instead of himself, which is actually pretty ridiculous, because everybody knows that Pezeshkian was not doing the negotiations with the Americans. He was not involved. This was all Ghalibaf. So Ghalibaf was doing the negotiations. Pezeshkian was not doing the negotiations. The only reason why Pezeshkian was signing the document, because he was the least powerful, not because he was the most powerful, but because he was the least powerful, so they could bully him and tell him, shut up and sign. You don't have any choice. We're going to make this decision for you. He was not permitted to resign, and he was not permitted to say no to this. He's hostage. He's feeling bad, and he deserves it, because he deserves everything all the anxiety and stress that he's feeling. He deserves all of it. But this Ali also shows that how much control Ghalibaf has, because Ghalibaf, you could not, nobody, they weren't managed to make Ghalibaf put his signature there. So the fact that Ghalibaf did all the negotiations, but Pezeshkian signed it, and Pezeshkian, like, think about it. Anybody within the Islamic Republic, so many pro-regime people will be fooled by this. They were like, "Oh my God, our supreme leader! Look at him. It's not his fault. It's Pezeshkian's fault." And everybody who voted for Pezeshkian, poor supreme leader, he warned us, but the people are going against what's the right thing to do, right? But any pro-regime person that is even a little bit politically active will look at this, and they will be like, Pezeshkian? Pezeshkian hasn't been doing the negotiations. Ghalibaf has been doing the negotiations. Ghalibaf has been pushing this. Why is he blaming this on Pezeshkian? So for many regime supporters who are following this, they can tell that the Pezeshkian is a scapegoat. The supreme leader is just is trying to not take responsibility, because even if you wanted to blame somebody, you should be blaming Ghalibaf, not blaming Pezeshkian. But this shows that the level of influence that Ghalibaf has makes the supreme leader not want to blame Ghalibaf, because this shows that the supreme leader is intimidated by the supreme leadership office, is intimidated by Ghalibaf, or else they would actually blame Ghalibaf, who is obviously the one responsible for the negotiations. But instead, they go with Pezeshkian, which will make many pro-regime people realize that this is just an excuse. Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to. I told you so. I know what I'm talking about. I saw this coming from a mile away, and I told you this will happen before anybody else even understood what I'm talking about. Absolutely nobody told you that this is going to happen, except me, and you now see that I know what I'm talking about. Oh, thank you.
Armin's always right. Armin's always right.
Not always, but I'm going to be bragging about this for years.
And the regime supporters, exactly what you just said about how some of them will believe it and some of them won't. Well, we're going to take a look in a second at what the regime supporters are actually saying in their Telegram channels. Right before that, though, he rambled on quite a bit more. Okay, and there's one more thing that we're going to show here. He's saying that Pezeshkian also said that if the Americans demand too much, we're not going to submit to them. But, and then he said, but, if the in-person negotiations in the future doesn't mean that we're submitting to them, then we hope that everything goes well. This is right here, Armin. This is Mujtaba Khamenei, the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, directly saying that we would be happy to negotiate and discuss with the Americans. That is what he is saying. That is a long way. We've come a long way. So look,
They
look right
killed
here.
your dad. You fucking yeah. Read it again.
If okay, so he's saying, he's talking about Pezeshkian here, saying if Pezeshkian also said that if the American side seeks to make excessive demands, that Pezeshkian will not submit to them. From this moment on, we, that is you, the proud nation, and this humble servant, will await the realization of the aforementioned conditions. So he's putting everything on Pezeshkian, just like you said. As long as Pezeshkian doesn't submit too much. Then he says, but if it's self-evident that the in-person negotiations in the future means that we're not submitting too much to the enemy's position, we hope that the blessed prayers of our master, may God hasten his noble reappearance, the Mahdi, will bring all kinds of victories and triumphs to honorable Iranian nation. That's him
You know what
indirectly
he's
saying
saying?
that we will negotiate.
Ooh. Actually, I'm reading something else now that I think about it. Okay, so look at this. However, it's self-evident that the in-person negotiations in the future will not mean acceptance of the enemy's position. We hope the blessed prayers of our master, may God hasten his noble appearance, will bring all kinds of victorious triumph to honorable Iran. You know what he's saying? You know what he's saying?
What's he saying?
He's actually saying what Ghalibov just said earlier today. I don't know if you have the video talking about invading Quds. You know what that video I'm talking about. So if you have that, show that,
Liberating
because there's some.
Jerusalem.
If you have that, bring it up, because there's something people are missing in that video. But he's saying that, guys, we will have the last laugh because the Mahdi will fuck up Americans. Even we will fuck the Americans and Israelis up when the Mahdi comes back. At the end of the day, we're gonna win anyways. So he's saying that, in my opinion, he's saying that even if the Americans submit to us and we negotiate with them and we don't fuck them up as you expect, because they killed the supreme leader and we're supposed to revenge as much as we need to be harmed, like, because a lot of pro-regime people are like, guys, what the hell, like, even if the Americans accept our terms, they killed our supreme leader, they killed Qasem Soleimani, and we haven't done anything remotely close to them. So how could we, like, hold back? This guy is saying that, guys, you're Shia. Shia never accepts defeat because we believe at the end of times, the Mahdi will come back and all the enemies of Islam will be wiped out and these people will suffer anyways. So this is the promise that at the end of the day, we will have our revenge one way or another. Just a reminder of that. You're muted.
Yeah, wait, sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh no. Didn't mean to scroll down there. Yeah, this is Ghalibov. This is him saying that. You want to listen to it?
Yes, so this is actually very interesting. Do you want to translate it, and I'll tell you the meaning behind? So there's what it seems he means, and then there's what he actually means. So let's play it.
ما هم میدونیم که داریم با قاتل رهبر شهیدمون طرف ما هستن.
We know that we're face to face or talking to the murderer of our supreme leader.
قاتل شهید سلیمانی با
So he's trying to explain, because he's right now, a lot of pro-regime people are like, guys, what, you're talking to the person that killed our supreme leader and killed our Qasem Soleimani. What are we doing? And he's saying, guys, I know that we're talking to the murderers of the supreme leader and Qasem Soleimani. I know, okay, but
قاتل فرزندان اینجا. حالا اون روز بحث میکردیم با یکی از دوستان که خب انتقام بگیریم، خونخواهی کنیم.
So I know that. I know we're talking to the murderers of the supreme leader. And we were talking the other day with, the boys, our colleagues, and we were saying we have to get revenge. We have to be bloodthirsty in revenge.
میطوره مثلا اگر ماه محرم شمر امام حسین علیه السلام رو به شهادت رسون و همه او دار دسته مثلا قصاصش کنن، بکشنش، مثلا انتقام گرفتن.
So now that it's the month where Imam Hussein died and it's our religious month, if they killed him, did they get...
No.
Am I getting that?
No.
What is he saying?
Oh my god, he's so fucking clever. Oh my god, unfortunately this motherfucker is very clever. He's saying,
Wait,
so
he's
look,
drawing
for
a
example,
parallel between Imam Hussein's death, like long time ago, and how they didn't get revenge to now.
No, wait, what he has, well, I mean, he's not saying that yet, but that's where he's going. He's saying, like, for example, so like people, he's saying the boys come to me and say, like, but if they kill our supreme leader, we have to shed blood, we have to kill them. And he's saying, well, for example, when Hussein was killed, okay, did they manage to get revenge for Hussein's killing? So guys, Hussein is the third imam of Shia Muslims, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, and he was killed brutally by Yazid, blessed be upon him, in Karbala, and so in a very and it's something that Shias cry about every single year in Ashura, right? So he's saying, did the revenge of Hussein was taken? Okay, so he's gonna go somewhere with this.
So he's gonna say that, but I will.
No.
Okay.
No. You'll see.
یعنی اینه خونخواهی امام حسین. خونخواهی امام حسین امام زمان و حکومت عدلی است که باید بیه پیاده بشه. این خونخواهی تا اون زمان ادامه داره.
Oh, okay.
Oh
he's
my
saying
God.
that
This fucking deceiver. Oh, fucking
was that the revenge?
I think the devil is taking notes, but go on.
He's like, was that the revenge? Was that it? The revenge that was supposed to last from the third imam's time till the coming of the 12th imam? That's supposed to last forever? Was that it?
No. Let me no. So he's saying that when Hussein was killed by Yazid's army, right, like 1300 years ago, he's saying, did we get blood for that? Did we get revenge for that? The revenge for Hussein is supposed to continue until the coming of the Mahdi. So you know what he's saying? He's saying, guys, you fuckers have been already waiting for Hussein's revenge for 1300 years. For 1300 years. So you guys are asking me why we haven't gotten the revenge for Qasim Soleimani and the supreme leader? Like that's been like less than the Qasim Soleimani. When was that? That was like, less than 10 years ago. And supreme leader was like 3 months ago, right? When was Qasim Soleimani killed? Like it's 6 years ago? I forgot how many years ago, but I'll check. Yeah, around 6 years ago. But he said, like, guys, like it has been like around 6 years for Qasim Soleimani, and he's not saying this exact words, but that's what he means. He's saying the revenge for Hussein, who died 1300 years ago, is ongoing until the reappearance of the Mahdi, right? So he's basically saying, shut the fuck up about revenge. If that could take 1300 years, this could also take a couple of hundred years as well. So just shut the fuck up and be content that the Mahdi will come back one day and get revenge for all of you. That's what he's saying. But he's not saying it the way I'm saying it. But he's saying he's basically saying these things take time. Sometimes 1300 years. That's what he's saying.
Oh, wow. He wants people to be patient.
اگر ما خون خواهیم که انشالله هستیم، همه این ملت خونخواهی امام بخوایم خونخواهی امام آزادی قدسه.
Look at this. He's Did you see the trembling, the cry? I'm
Yeah.
telling you, this
He's such a rat.
motherfucker, like I'm telling you, the devil is taking notes from this guy. Holy fucking
Let me
shit.
try.
Go back.
Let me try.
Okay.
The revenge. If we want to take revenge, which we will, if all of the people of Iran want revenge, we must we must kill the Jews. That's what he just said.
Liberate Quds, liberate Jerusalem. But that was Oscar. Ali, that was Oscar worthy. That was us guys. Like you should go like this and see. Go like and see. That's what you should do. But what he's saying, okay, that was pretty good. Okay. But what he's saying, yeah, Oscar for Ali, guys. Everybody stand up, stand up. He's saying, guys, like the real revenge, which is a revenge that we want blood. All the Iranian people want blood. And it's funny because he's crying, or like as it's supposed to be a wholesome thing to say, but he's talking about wanting blood, being thirsty for blood. He's like, all Iranian people are thirsty for blood, for the killing of their supreme leader. And he cries. And he says, but guys, the real revenge, the real desire for blood comes from liberating Jerusalem. That's the ultimate revenge, right? So, Ali, a lot of people are playing this part and they're missing what's happening here. They're making a correct point, but not all the points. They're playing this segment and they're saying, like, look, guys, these motherfuckers haven't changed. You're doing negotiations with them and they're talking about liberating Jerusalem, meaning invading Israel. So that is the correct point to make, but that is a surface level analysis. You know, that is not wrong. That is correct to say, like, guys, you're signing an MOU with this guys. Look at this. Nothing changed. The Ghalibaf is in charge. Ghalibaf is the person who's saying we need to go and liberate Jerusalem. So nothing has changed. These people have still their expansionist, imperialist, is pan-Islamic Shia empire building, fucking world dominating, Jew killing agenda is still there, right? Which is correct. But here's what you're missing, which you should add to that, not to take away from that, but add to this. Where he's saying, what is the point of like fighting, you know, with a few missiles here and there, attacking this and that? This is like insignificant compared to the real revenge that will happen maybe at the end of times when the Mahdi comes. Like the true revenge is when we take over all of Jerusalem. Maybe, yeah, exactly. Maybe in a couple hundred years from now or something. But that is these like us basically. You guys want us to keep attacking the ships and rockets and stuff like that. This is child's play compared to the real revenge that one day comes. Right now, we should focus on other things and maybe build a country and economically develop, make us stronger so that when the Mahdi comes, he has a stronger country, you know. But that will happen one day, and that's a big one. These are like small little attacks here and there. It's not helping us right now. You know, that is what he's does that. Do you understand the translation here? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And yeah, I believe him. I don't know about you guys, but you know, we had a super chat from Fleshy Interloper going back to what Mujtaba was saying about Pezeshkian, just completely blaming him for everything, saying if Mujtaba says it, it must be true. Absolutely. Because he definitely wrote that statement, and I definitely didn't put that into an AI detector and see that 60% of it was AI. And yeah, he wrote that. Absolutely, Fleshy Interloper. Who also said they were not chanting against Pezeshkian, but they
that
will be.
is so no. Fleshy Interloper. Holy shit. How do you like, are you Iranian or something? Because that is I think, let me explain. I think I know what Fleischer Interloper is pointing out. And if it is what I think he's pointing out, he sees things. You're really good at understanding what's happening. So, guys, the supreme leader is saying it was not me, it was Pezeshkian. Okay? But you know how we know that he's blaming the wrong guy and Ghalibov is in control? Because absolutely nobody, absolutely no pro-regime person and no anti-regime person what came out and once said death to Pezeshkian. The anti-regime people, our side, never says death to Pezeshkian because he's irrelevant. The pro-regime Iranians who are saying death to Arakchi and death to Ghalibov were not saying death to Pezeshkian because he's irrelevant. So even the pro-regime Iranians who were extremely anti the deal, anti-negotiations, anti-MOU, didn't come out once and say death to Pezeshkian, what the fuck Pezeshkian, stop it Pezeshkian, you know, not the only time they turned against him is when he was resigning. And they're like, fuck you, you're trying to, you know, they started turning against him when the supreme leader was obviously preparing him to be the scapegoat. But most of the hate was directed at Arakchi and Ghalibov because they understand that they are doing the deal. And this is why Mushtaba's message doesn't make any sense, because he's blaming the negotiations on somebody that the pro-regime people knew he was not responsible for, because if they thought he was responsible, chance would be against him.
That makes sense.
Great observation. Great observation.
And then do you think it's also because Pezeshkian is technically the will of the people? He's elected by the people, so they're not going to come and attack him just yet. They're saving him for later.
Okay, so for anti-regime Iranians, they don't think Pezeshkian is the will of the people because they know the elections are fake, and Pezeshkian is was handpicked by Ali Khamenei. That the anti-regime Iranians know that. Okay, the pro-regime Iranians don't think the elections are fake, but they hate the people who they think voted for Pezeshkian. So they say fuck the people and fuck their vote and fuck this president. So that's why that's why the supreme leader is using Pezeshkian as a scapegoat, because it makes the pro-regime people angry at the right people, which is everybody that voted for Pezeshkian, right?
Yeah, but aren't they just saving him for later?
Saving who for later? Pezeshkian?
They're saving Pezeshkian for later, so that when everything, when they're ready to blame him fully, they'll be like, "Oh, this was the will of the people."
I think this is the worst. This is one of the most. I mean, I'm pretty sure Pezeshkian is going to have more use cases maybe in the future, but this was the biggest one.
Yeah,
I think this was it. I mean, look at the guy. Hold on. Look at the poor guy.
I know what you're gonna show.
I know. Okay.
That picture was true. It turned out to be true.
Why are we? No, I'll do it. I'll get it. Okay. Yeah, that picture ended up being true. And oh my God, look at him. You know, here's the thing. I know what happened here. You know what happened here? They took this picture, okay, and they're like, holy fuck, you look sad. Like, holy shit, man, you look so pissed. Can you not smile a little bit? Like, he's like, what the fuck? How the fuck did I get into this situation? He's thinking that is my signature next to the signature of what the people in the street are calling the murderer of the supreme leader. What life decisions have I made for me to be in this position? How could I get out of this? And he looks so fucking miserable in this picture that somebody told him that you need to smile. Like, this is bad. You need to smile. And then they forced him to smile, and this was the result. Okay, look, they told him to smile, and this was the result. Look at it. This is his attempt. I'm pretty sure this picture was taken after this picture, after somebody told him to, can you please try smiling? And this was his best attempt at smiling. Okay, that's what I think happened. Okay,
Can you go back to
and
the
again,
first
every
picture?
time I. Okay.
Can you zoom out a bit, please?
Okay.
And then scroll up. Okay, guys, look at this picture. Okay, you have Pezeshkian amidst as many Islamic Republic flags as they can put in your face. Signature of Donald Trump next to his. Okay, and he's just holding it up. He's like, oh my God. And then you have the supreme leaders in the back. So every regime supporter looking at this is going to see Islamic Republic flags, Pezeshkian in the middle with the signature, and then they're going to look up at the supreme leaders. And they're going to be like, wait, what? This is not the Islamic Republic that I know. The supreme leaders would never have endorsed this. This is all Pezeshkian. This is Pezeshkian.
So, by the way, all of this picture is real, not AI, except one part. Which part of this is AI? Can anyone tell? Yeah. This is, guys, this is AI. This is AI. This is not a real picture. This is AI.
Man.
Every picture of Mujtaba is AI. They don't actually have pictures of him like that. So they're using AI to make his pictures. By the way, and I have another picture of this, exactly this, that I need to show every single time I show this, which is this again. I don't know. Every time I see Pezeshkian being used like this, I have to go back to this meme.
That really is the perfect
Anyway.
meme.
Yeah.
And Boboism was saying everything is just takia. Never trust Durkas. Oh. The only thing I'll
think
trust
President
for Durkas is to continue being Durka, I think, which is actually changing. Oh my God. Wait, I can't even trust that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, to do takia, you could actually pretend not to, you could stop doing Durka to survive. That's part of takia is to stop being Durka for a while.
Isn't that the most convenient thing in Shia Islam that they could have come up with? They're like, oh wait, let me just put a clause that says I can do whatever I want or need to, as long as I just say it's for the cause of Islam and spreading revolution.
For the sake of Islam, yeah.
As long as I say that.
Whatever. If for the sake of Islam, you need to have a pile of, 10 mullahs having orgy in public in the middle of the street.
Okay.
If somehow that saves Islam, it becomes not only permissible, it becomes mandatory.
Thank you, Boboism. Everything is takia. And Steak and Beans saying IRGC get rid of Pezeshkian and Trump get rid of JD. I don't know about get rid. Both people have their uses here, but blame, maybe.
Well, I don't think they're going to get rid of Pezeshkian. He's such a powerful, useful scapegoat.
He has more use before he's completely worn down. Yeah, thanks, Steak. And Joanne saying, could they make a nuclear weapon in 60 days? They can make dirty bombs, but they can't make a full-on nuclear weapon because they have other uranium.
The enriched uranium is under the ground, so they don't have access to it unless they have more enriched uranium somewhere else that we don't know of. But
yeah,
so far,
they can make like a dirty bomb, but not like a nuclear weapon. No. And Joanne, who also said, what are the regime supporters saying or feeling about the MOU? So glad you asked. So glad you asked. Why don't we take a look? Oh, by the way, real quick, It seems like the Switzerland meeting is not going to happen anymore. They're not going to meet up in person.
Yep. I think Ghalibaf managed to convince the Americans that I'm not going to meet with you guys. Pezeshkian is all you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be too difficult to sell internally.
So we're going to take a look at the Telegram group real quick. I have a couple of links. I went digging.
Ooh, Ali's Telegram. By the way, Ali, you were gonna give us some explanations regarding your views on the MOU. When are you gonna? Okay.
Yeah. So right after this, I'm gonna give my view on the MOU, and I wrote down my thoughts so I don't ramble. Okay.
This is my favorite time when Ali goes through RGC Telegram and finds this stuff for us. This is my favorite part. Okay, but go. Yes.
So we got the first guy here. And let me know if you want to read it in Farsi. I can just translate it back. But the first guy, okay, after Mujtaba Khamenei comes out with this statement. Sorry, what?
I think the Farsi would be more accurate, but I'm gonna let you lead. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, not at all. Here, let's put this here. Okay, so you go ahead and read that while I give the intro to this. Okay, so Mujtaba Khamenei came out with this statement, the one that we just read, right? And then I went to the Telegram group and I'm like, what are people saying? What are the regime supporters talking about? And so one guy, and I try to bring you guys the both of the sides, right? So the regime supporters, not like they're all united, right? There's divisions. So this guy comes out, and Armin, what does he say?
He's saying, how could the supreme leader be more clearly, and more respectfully tell you that the agreement was imposed on him? Actually, the English translation is good. Read the English translation. It's pretty good. The English translation is
no, you're getting it. You were saying it.
Wait, I don't go back to the Persian because I don't know what the jackals and go back to I think keep the Persian. I think okay. So how could our supreme leader make it any more clear, respectfully make it any more clear that the agreement was imposed on him? The evil, like, I don't know, hyena, like, he's basically insulting. So the so-called followers, the followers of their regime, the followers of the supreme leader who are fake followers, like hyenas, how could they save face? How could they have the audacity to come out and say that the supreme leader was in agreement? So so basically is that we told you, this guy was obviously before in favor of saying that the supreme leader didn't want this agreement. This is being imposed on him. And now with the message from the supreme leader, he's coming out and saying, we told you so. Shut the fuck up. Any of the regime supporters who are telling the rest of the regime supporters that the supreme leader was in agreement with the negotiations should shut up. So this, Ali, the good thing about this is that the supreme leader's message is going to cause more division. But so you might ask, why would the supreme leader put out the message if it's going to cause more division? Because now we were in a position where we were effectively telling regime supporters that, guys, just accept it because the supreme leader wants it. So shh. If the supreme leader says it, don't you fight the supreme leader. If the supreme leader is in favor of the negotiations, you should also be in favor of the negotiations, right? So, and many regime supporters who were upset, they were being silenced for this. Like the pro negotiations people were trying to silence the anti-negotiating people by referring to the supreme leader, right? And so many of the anti-negotiations people within the Islamic Republic were coming out like, no, they took him hostage. No, they're forcing him. No, he might even be dead. How do we even know if this is what he's saying? So now, but the supreme leader coming out and saying, I didn't want this. It's Pezeshkian. People are coming out. I told you. He didn't want it. This means the negotiations are bad. Stop the negotiations. Then, who the fuck is Pezeshkian? He's not Islamic. He's a traitor. Some idiots voted for him. He's a Zionist. He's in touch with Azerbaijan, which is a Zionist state. He killed Ali Khamenei. Look how amazing. Oh my God, Ali! Look how amazing our supreme leader is. Even though Oh my god. Even though Pezeshkian is with the Zionists who killed his father and his mother and his wife and his children, even though Pezeshkian has infiltrated the regime and has been working with the Zionists and they have attacked and he's killed his entire family, look how amazing our supreme leader is. That because he was voted by the people, he still doesn't want to impose anything on these foolish people who don't know what's good for them. Ali is been abandoned again, just like 1400 years ago when Imam Ali was being abandoned by the people. And even though he was abandoned, Imam Ali didn't impose himself. These people today are also stupid, and they voted for this Pezeshkian. And even though he's evil, our supreme leader is so great, so heavenly, so pure that he will not even move against the person responsible for the murder of his own father and mother and sister and children, because he submits to the will of the people. Has there ever been any more pure person on earth? Okay, so I just give you the full version. But these people, this is what they're saying. They're thinking like this is a level of cruelty that is happening to Mushtaba, and the people. If he is so kind that he respects the will of the people, we don't have to be. We should be against the negotiations because he now made it clear that he's against the negotiations as well. But Ali, here's the question: if this is now going to cause more, like a little more division, and now the anti-negotiation people now have a weapon, they could come out and say like, "Hey guys, we now have evidence that the supreme leader doesn't like this, so fuck the negotiations," right? Then why would the supreme leader come out and put this out there if it causes more division?
I have the next thing for you, and that might offer an alternative to that question, though.
No, wait, let's stay here because
Okay.
it's a very because the supreme leader's position is more important than long term for unity than this short term division, right? Because the supreme leader needs to blame Pezeshkian because we need to keep the supreme leader sacred. And so many regime people are against the negotiation, so he needs to be like, it wasn't me. So even though it will cause some division, it still makes sense for the position of the supreme leadership of it for him to wash his hands off of the negotiations. That's why even though this causes division, it's still, so this is bad for Ghalibaf, but it's an attempt to preserve the position of the supreme leader, because the supreme leader might be submitting to Ghalibaf a little bit, but not to the point where the entirety of the power of the supreme leadership is being sacrificed. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. But what if there's an alternative to that? What if there's an alternative to them trying to still preserve the office of the supreme leadership? What if someone comes out and says this, Armin? Guys, I brought you the different perspectives. And what Armin's been saying, someone's coming out and saying, do you want to tell them?
Yeah, okay. Let me see. By the way, guys, so far what I have said, did it make sense, or was it too nuanced and complicated? Let me know in the chat, because I want to make sure that you guys are understanding all of this detail. And you're not, again, I promise you, I challenge you to go find more detail, more nuance than this. Okay, let me read this. And also let me know in the chat if you're understanding what I'm saying. Okay, so از شروط رهبر شدن در جمهوری اسلامی بینش صحیح سیاسی و اجتماعی تدبیر، شجاعت، مدیریت و قدرت کافی برای رهبری هست. اگه این توافق تحمیل شده پس صلاحیت رهبری نداره. Ooh.
Yeah, this is the alternative to what you were saying.
Wow.
Why don't we move away from the supreme leadership?
Well, I mean, he's making it conditional. This guy is saying if this has been imposed on the supreme leader, then he doesn't deserve to be the supreme leader, because part of the condition to be a supreme leader is for you to be brave, to have management skills, to have power. So if Pezeshkian has managed to force this upon the supreme leader, then he's no supreme leader at all. Ooh. Wow. Ooh. Ali, you know what I like this? I like the fact that people are getting pro-regime people are getting more and more daring to say this would get you executed immediately 10
Yeah.
years ago. And now
Yeah.
we're hearing it not from anti-regime people, but also from pro-regime Iranian people.
Yeah. Wait, someone was saying have Jabicha, we have not gone through the deal yet. We're gonna go through it right after this.
Yeah.
Okay, so right after this, we're gonna give you the actual deal, like what's actually happening, what's actually going on. Because for the past few days, I was like out of
So,
it.
Ali,
I
can
was
you
so
give
out
a
of it.
caveman version of everything that we said? Because I saw somebody said it's actually too complicated.
Okay.
Do a caveman version. Yes.
Okay. 3-character. Ghalibaf, Parliament Speaker. Okay. Supreme Leader Mojtaba, Cardboard Supreme, gay Ayatollah. And then President of the Islamic Republic, Iran Pezeshkian. Okay. These 3 people. Okay. Supreme Leader, puppet, no power, maybe dead, don't know. Hurt, big hurt. Ghalibaf, ambitious. Ghalibaf wants everything, winner takes all. Ghalibaf come, abuse the hell out of Pezeshkian, the president. Put the blame of talking to Americans, losing the war, everything, put it on Pezeshkian, put it on the president. Ghalibaf get power. Ghalibaf now holding everyone together. Ghalibaf tell people in the Islamic Republic, if you don't listen to me, if I don't make decision, I kill you in the Islamic Republic. I tell Americans where you hide. American drop bomb. You die. Listen to me. Everyone go, okay. Supreme Leader is being used. Supreme Leader used by Ghalibaf to take power away from everyone else and put it to Ghalibaf. So far. And then what? People don't like that. People asking why Ghalibaf powerful now. We have Supreme Leader. We always have Supreme Leader. Supreme Leader. Supreme. Why Supreme Leader no say words? Why Supreme Leader quiet? Why Supreme Leader say Pezeshkian with no power told Supreme Leader what to do? Blasphemy. Ghalibaf told Supreme Leader to say that. Ghalibaf, puppet master. Supreme Leader losing power. Pezeshkian waiting to be executed. Pezeshkian dead man walking. Did I miss anything there?
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So Texas is saying, why is Ali talking like that? We're doing caveman when things get complicated. We do caveman version to bring it so that everybody could follow.
Ghalibaf puppet master. Just remember that. That's all you need to know. Ghalibaf puppet master.
Yes.
Ghalibaf using everyone.
That's pretty good.
And so that's what's happening with the internal politics, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's basically that's just the start. Now, let me translate this back for you. So, okay, so someone was saying Pega was saying they promised the Americans promised Israel and Pahlavi complete victory, but that never happened. They lost. We, the Islamic Republic, won. And someone comes in responds to her in this group chat and says this.
Oh, show us.
Oh wait, and says this.
Go back up because I didn't see the original comment.
So this person in the group chat, Pega, is saying they told Israel, they told Pahlavi that they were going to win, and they didn't, and they lost, and we, the Islamic Republic, won. It's all over. We won. This person.
Okay, so Pega is pro-regime. Both of these are pro-regime. Pega is pro-regime and saying, guys, we won. Because they thought that they're going to topple us and Pahlavi will come back. And none of that happened. So that means we won. So now this person is responding and saying, بعد گرفتن اورانیوم تازه بازی شروع میشه هنوز شاید this I think the English version of this will be fine because watch the English version.
Okay. This
It's not.
person is reminding Pega that it's not over. The game only begins after the uranium is taken. There's still 60 days left. Even after those 60 days, there is still a possibility of a US attack. This memorandum of understanding was a ploy to calm the oil prices and open the strait. Even in the worst times, even if America is completely desperate, America will not grant these actual concessions to Iran. The MOU is a trick. It's a trick. This guy's saying it's all a trick.
So, guys, these are pro-regime Iranians disagreeing. The first one saying, we won! They tried to topple the regime and bring back Pahlavi, and they didn't. This guy is saying it's not over. He's saying these Americans are going to take the uranium and everything will start after that. This MOU is a trick just for calming the oil prices, and they're going to come take the uranium from us with these negotiations, and after that, we're fucked. Ooh. Yeah,
Yep.
so Carolyn is saying that Telegram guy gets Trump's trick. These are pro-regime people, so you can see some of them know that they're falling. Some of them, believe that they're walking into a trap. They're like, guys, they're this is a trap, and we're walking right into it. Yeah. Ali,
So that
can
guy
you send
knows.
some of these? This one
Yeah,
and
of
the
course.
one.
I can send you all these. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that guy knows it's a trap. Okay. Now, let's read this other one. This is the last one that I have for you guys.
That's pretty cool.
Tell me if you want to read this in Farsi at any point. But this guy's saying
Texas is saying that Telegram guy is spying on Armin. Yeah, guys, we're basically giving up too many secrets. They're watching us and figuring out what's happening. Okay. All right. What is this?
This guy's saying in the Supreme Security Council, there's the head of the judiciary, the Speaker of the Parliament, the commander of the IRGC, the commander of the army, and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. This is the Supreme Security Council. These people. Almost half of those important people are chosen by the Supreme Leader. The text of this agreement was approved with only one negative vote. Wait, let's read this. Okay. The president has one vote. Let's read this. Because in the Farsi one was better. The Farsi
Okay,
one
the
was
Farsi one is better. دقت کنید در شورای عالی امنیت رئیس قوه قضاییه هست، رئیس مجلس هست، فرمانده سپاه هست، فرمانده ارتش هست، فرمانده کل نیروی مسلح. تقریبا نصف اعضا توسط رهبر انتخاب میشه و متن توافق فقط با یک رأی مخالف تایید شد. رئیس جمهور یک رأی. This guy is calling bullshit on the Supreme Leader. Guys, the Supreme Leader just came out and said that it wasn't me, it was Pezeshkian. Okay? This person is commenting. Let me actually remove this and show you this. This is the Supreme Security Council, right? The Supreme National Security Council. They had to vote. This council had to vote in that agree to the negotiations, right? He's saying that people are on the council. There is Ejei, okay, which is the leader of the judiciary branch, the top judge, right? Reis Majlis, which is Ghalibaf, the head of the parliament. Farmande Sepah, which is the head of the IRGC, Vahidi. Farmande Artesh, which is the head of the Artesh. Farmande Kol Niroy Masalat, the head of all the armed forces, which I think is Shekarchi right now, okay? And then, yes, all of these people. And he's saying these are included in the Security Council. So, guys, listen to his point. He's saying more like approximately half of the people on the Supreme Council have been directly selected by the Supreme Leader. And there's only one vote against. And the Security Council voted for the negotiation, in favor of the negotiation, and only one person voted against. And he's not saying who voted against. I don't know if it was public who that vote was. And he's saying the president of the Islamic Republic has only one vote. So he's not saying anything. he's not directly saying what he means. He's reading what the supreme leader has posted, and he's saying bull fucking shit. He's saying almost every person on the Security Council voted for these negotiations, for the MOU, except one person. And half of the people on this council are directly chosen by the supreme leader. And the president, where the supreme leader, the president who the supreme leader is blaming these negotiations on, has only one vote in the Security Council. So he's saying that the supreme leader has more say on whether or not the MOU would be approved than the president. And so shut the fuck up. He's basically saying bullshit to the supreme leader without directly saying bullshit to the supreme leader. Like, he's saying, how could you say that we did this because of Pezeshkian, given that Pezeshkian had one vote and most of the council voted for the MOU, and you are the person who chose half of the council? He's saying that the supreme leader had more say in whether or not the MOU would be approved than the president. Does that make sense?
So basically, the supreme leader should have said no. And he said, I had a different opinion. He said, I had a different opinion. I did not actually have this agreement in mind with the Americans. I didn't want to sign this MOU. But Pezeshkian's opinion swayed me. Well, your National Security Council had to vote on it, and you put everyone there, except for like a couple people. So how come how come this passed? Why are you contradicting yourself?
Because guys, everybody within the everybody that knows anything about the Islamic Republic politics knows that national security matters are not chosen by the president directly. The national security decisions are always chosen by the Supreme Security Council. And the president is only one member within the Security Council. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people are here. So the president's influence over the most important decisions regarding the security is 1 out of 9. 1 out of 9. And half of these people are chosen by the supreme leader directly, right? So everybody knows that it's not the president that calls the shots, it's the Supreme Council. So this guy is saying, how dare you, supreme leader, how dare you say it was him, given that this entire body, so you can see Pezeshkian is 1 out of 9 people within the within the Security Council. So Mushtaba over here has supposedly chosen half of these people. So how could you blame it on Pezeshkian when it's this body that would make that decision, and half of them are chosen by you? So he's calling BS on the supreme leader's statement.
Yeah. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you have understood that the supreme leader is being questioned publicly, and that it's only going to get worse from here on out for him. Okay.
Ali,
shall we talk about the MOU?
Yes, you brought us such good insight with these Telegram messages, guys.
Thank you.
I am learning from the information that Ali is giving us. Okay, so I go and everywhere and try to absorb. Ali's information is making me so much more aware of what's happening for the Persian show that I'm gonna have tomorrow. So thank you, Ali. Really good job. And guys, it's not just the analysis here that you're not going to get anywhere else. The information that Ali has revealed to us hasn't been researched. This is all we have this here, and nobody else has gone and dug this out of this area, these groups, and brought it to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saying, good job, new guy.
So we're getting like, you guys are on X, and you guys see what we're saying. Now we're actually getting to see, we're going to their Telegram groups, and we're telling you what they're saying on the other side of the internet there. So with that, the moment that you have all been waiting for, I wrote down my thoughts about the MOU so I don't mess anything up. I don't want to like ramble or like get sidetracked or anything. So here we go. Okay. So the MOU that was signed between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. All right. Wrote down my thoughts. I'm going to read them to you guys. So here we go. The Islamic Republic is not getting the money that is mentioned in the MOU until they perform. They have to perform first, then they get the money. Not the $24 billion of the frozen assets and not the $300 billion investment. The $300 billion is the big one. So Ghalibaf, the main perpetrator behind this MOU, was asked yesterday in state media. And they asked him, they're like, what about the $300 billion of reparations? And he said, well, actually, it's not reparations, it's foreign investment. Okay, that's true. So the USA is not going to invest in the Islamic Republic. The government of the United States is not going to do it. They're not going to hand over $300 billion of taxpayer money. The US said if a company, a private company, wants to invest in Iran, then we won't limit them. We won't put sanctions on them. They can do it if they want to. Now, I just personally want to see what private companies in the world are going to go and invest in the Islamic Republic of Iran, in their private sector of the Islamic Republic of Iran. You have to ask yourself, is a private company, okay, who invests only in safe countries who don't have the risk of war erupting or chaos and uprisings, are they going to come and invest in the Islamic Republic? No. Is it going to be the Persian Gulf Arab countries? Saudi Arabia was also asked yesterday. They had an interview with one of the princes of the economic financial stuff. And he said, they asked him, are you going to invest in this $300 billion fund into the Islamic Republic? And the prince said, well, the trust between us and the Islamic Republic has been broken. It has to be rebuilt first, then we will invest in them. So what does that mean? No. It means I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Are the other Persian Gulf Arab countries who nearly got wiped off the map, like Kuwait, Bahrain, the UAE, are they going to jump at the opportunity to invest in Iran? No. Is Qatar and China going to do it? Maybe, probably. But $300 billion? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And I did some research. Back during the Iran and Iraq War in the 1980s, at the end of the war, the resolution that the United Nations created to basically call it off and end it, because there was actually never a formal end to it, was it was like this resolution that said that $100 billion from Iraq was to be given in the form of reparations or investment into the Islamic Republic of Iran. The regime, the Islamic Republic at the time, said they wanted 10 times that, so $1 trillion. In the end, they got zero. So this is a similar thing. They got $0 from the Iraqis ever. So that's the $300 billion. Okay, you have to ask yourself which private company is going to come and invest. Now, is Israel going to follow this complete end to the fighting in Lebanon? No. They said this deal has nothing to do with them. President Trump said, Bibi's going to listen to me, they're going to end the fighting. Bibi literally came out the next day, said, we have nothing to do with this at all. We're never going to sit by and let them hit us and not respond. And today, Hezbollah launched dozens of rockets into Israel. So Israel and the regime are definitely going to fight again, because the Islamic Republic isn't just going to sit by and watch Hezbollah get hammered. Okay, so that's going to happen. Missiles are going to start flying in this 60-day period. It might be extended. So the differences between Israel, the Islamic Republic, and the USA can't be solved with an MOU that's non-binding. They have a long history. It's just a piece of paper. It's not going to end anything. Okay, moving on from that. They have 60 days to finish discussing the nuclear issue, the Strait of Hormuz. The 60 days can be extended if both parties are willing, as is stated in the MOU. And it probably will be extended, in my opinion. During this period, are the US forces going to leave the Middle East? I don't see that happening until the Islamic Republic carries out what they've said they do, which is give up the uranium. Strait is toll-free. Now, let's say they do. They finish, they end the talks, everything's gotten out, the uranium, everything. Okay, then yes, the United States is going to start withdrawing its troops. But is the Fifth Fleet in Bahrain going to remain? Yes. Are all the bases that the United States has in the region going to remain and all of their troops? Yes. Is the United States going to lift the blockade? Yes, they did. It seems that some Islamic Republic oil tankers have already gotten through. They've passed the strait, they got into international waters. Who knows where they're going? Probably China. Even though the United States Navy transmitted a message last night and the night before that in Farsi to ships in the Strait of Hormuz that you are not cleared to go, return to your ports. And even though the Islamic Republic has fired Shahed drones this past week, on multiple nights. But okay, the blockade is lifted. Will the regime be allowed to collect tolls or fees from the ships that are going through the Strait of Hormuz? No. Are they saying they will collect fees from ships? Yes. So they created the threat in the Strait of Hormuz, and now they want a fee for providing the passage through it. They created the problem, and they're charging for the solution. Is that going to be allowed? No. So that is going to become apparent really soon, because the whole point of this MOU was to drive the oil prices down as fast as possible. So these ships have to get out, and they got to start going now. So we're going to find out real soon, this week, next week, real soon. But all right, the blockade is lifted. The regime gets to sell their oil, but all the ships that are stuck in the Persian Gulf get to leave. They will not be under threat of hostage taking in the future, and the price of oil comes plummeting down. Now, the uranium issue. Are you guys with me so far? Is this good?
Yep,
Okay.
pretty.
Okay.
I think so. You guys let me know and let us know in the chat.
The regime spent hundreds of billions of dollars building centrifuges, buying uranium, developing a nuclear weapons program, and is all gone. The uranium is buried underground. It's either going to be diluted or taken away. And all of this money, by the way, was the Iranian people's money. All of this money was ours. They have nothing to show. They have nothing. They wasted it all. It's gone. So they're going to have to spin it somehow to their own supporters. The truth is that they made the country of Iran endure decades of sanctions for this nuclear program. The nuclear program, which is now destroyed, the supreme leader got killed instantly. Most of the top generals and figures are dead. They negotiated with the Americans. They're on the losing side of the negotiations. They signed the MOU with the Americans. They fought and lost the military war. Their own supporters are angry. And when the uranium is actually dealt with, the supporters are going to be even more angry. If the regime doesn't stop funding the terrorist proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, Popular Mobilization Front, all of them, it doesn't give up the uranium, and it doesn't abandon the idea to collect tolls in the Strait of Hormuz, the sanctions come back, the blockade comes back, the bombing starts again. Trump confirmed that. Hegseth confirmed that. So what we're left with is a situation that's similar to before the strikes in February 28th. But we don't have Ali Khamenei. We don't have all the top generals and figures. They don't have ballistic missile production anymore. They have no nuclear weapons. They're starved economically. They're completely failing economically. Their bank account is almost empty. They have growing economic pressure that can't be solved. It was already there before. It's way, way worse now. It cannot be solved. And then you have growing unrest among the Iranian people and now the regime supporters as well. So what do we, the people, do? Is Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi the only leader still surviving after all these decades of opposition? Yes. No other opposition leader is still standing. Has he been saying the same thing since day one till now? Yes. Which is, we will liberate Iran with or without help. And we absolutely will. So there's way more to this story, okay? The Islamic Republic is trying to spin this as a massive win to their angry supporters. But the reality is they signed an unbinding document after losing the military war, destroying the military program, all the leaders, the Khamenei's, everything. And they think the money is about to come in now, the $300 billion, the frozen assets. Well, the United States isn't paying anything. It's not even paying a cent. Private companies aren't about to come and risk their capital on a decaying regime that could erupt into war at any second. Israel already openly rejected the deal. They're not even privy to it. They're not even included. So the fighting is not going to just stop because of this stupid piece of paper. And there's way more in this story. So everything is going to become apparent in this negotiation period of this like 60 days, maybe extended, maybe 90 days. And we're going to find out what direction we're heading. Those are my thoughts.
That was a pretty great summary, and pretty good. Yeah,
Sweet.
I think it made it very clear.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of people were talking about China and Russia investing. What are your thoughts on that?
I do have my thoughts on that. I was actually hoping that someone would ask that. So if we go back to the map here, take a look, ladies and gentlemen, at what Moscow looks like today. Anyone curious?
Oh wow! Oh no! Wait, that's a meme. That the one on the right. This one is real. But isn't that the other one?
This is Moscow, and yes, that's the top of an oil refinery.
That is that real?
That is real. AI? That is real. Let me play that again for you guys.
Holy
that is the literal top of an oil refinery.
Wait, let me double check that. Are you sure this is real?
This is 100% real. I've 100% verified this. This is what Moscow looks like today. You see the smoke in the background? That's Moscow. This is this. Let me copy this image address so you guys can zoom in and look. Guys, this is what Moscow looks like. This is an oil refinery. Look, the lid literally just got blown off and it's in the air.
Many Russians only realize that they're in war. They didn't know for the past 4 years.
Oh, they'll look. They'll definitely know now. These are Ukrainian drones, and this is Moscow.
Oh my God.
This is Moscow today. That is a Ukrainian drone flying unimpeded. And if you hear those sounds, those are bullets. Look at that rocket trying to go intercept it. Moscow has completely failed to defend itself from Ukrainian drones. I think Russia's got a lot more to worry about, but there is one thing that they will do. We'll get into that right after this clip.
Slava Ukrainia! Slava Ukrainia, motherfuckers!
This is what Moscow looks like right now. Yeah, they're screwed. By the way, guys, that's oil. That's oil infrastructure. This is all of the Russian economy. Literally, that's all they rely on.
For the first time in their history, they imported fuel in Russia.
Really?
Yeah. For the first time, they had to import fuel. Yeah, they didn't get to take advantage of the high oil prices during this time.
I mean, oh man, there's Ukrainian drones in our skies. This is Moscow. I thought we were safe, yet.
They literally, the Russians are literally
they got their
asking for the first time. For the first time, Russians are actually asking, are things actually going as planned?
They got so many problems.
Because for so many years, they've been told that, yeah, guys, we got this. Everything is going according to plan. But now it's coming. The war is now affecting the Russian people. So finally, they get to see the consequences.
And so here's what's going to happen. The Islamic Republic doesn't have any more ballistic missile production capabilities. But they can produce drones. They can start doing that again. It's way easier to produce these Shahed drones and other drones than it is to produce ballistic missiles. So what they're going to do is Russia desperately needs more drones. the Islamic Republic can start selling more and more drones. They already have been, but they're going to start selling more to Russia. And Russia is going to give them money that they don't have. So let's see how that plays out. The entirety of the Russian economy depends on oil. That is their economy. Ukraine's hit almost all of their oil refineries during this year, the past 6 months. All of them.
We do need to get to people's comments. Also, I have to figure out a way to make sure my Israeli flag is showing when I'm here, not just the American. Okay. Do you want to respond? Oh, there we go. That's beautiful. All right. So, do you want to respond? I need to move this closer. Do you want to respond to some comments?
Yeah, let's do it. Real quick, we had a few new members. We had Yashat Ra become a YouTube member. Thank you. And Benita Sarah Summers, thank you as well. And KPG 484. Thank you all for becoming channel members. And with that, we have okay. So we have George Hansen here. I think meant to send a super chat saying 2 different documents. George, can you remind us what you're talking about there?
Maybe he's referring to the fact that there is one MOU that is out there for all of us to see and for Ghalibaf to be able to sell. And there is another actual agreement between the Americans and Ghalibaf, which is the one that the Americans expect.
That makes sense.
Maybe
This is such a clown show with this MOU. It's completely non-binding.
I mean, the way to make sense of the MOU is to look at it as a marketing document rather than a legal document. All right? It's a marketing document for Ghalibaf internally. It's not a legal document.
Oh, yeah. No, not legal at all. And we have Wyatt saying, if gas leaks were made with unclean stuff like pig's blood, would it prevent these guys from going to heaven? If so, could this make them surrender?
Not really. Guys, these people can even drink pig's blood if it's necessary for fighting the enemies of Islam. If it's like, there is literally nothing that these people, I mean, I know people meme those things against Islam, but these people are allowed to do the most un-Islamic things in their fights against enemies of Islam, and pig's blood is not going to stop them.
It's gross, but that's a good idea, Wyatt.
Oh,
I'll keep that one in mind.
Thank you so much.
And Vidor Folnirska saying, Armin, I just want to ask you, why do you think Ahmadinejad supported Ukraine when Russia's invasion began? I don't trust the bastard at all, to be honest.
Ahmadinejad is a contrarian to the regime ever since he had a fight with Ali Khamenei. So he has been taking many positions against the regime ever since their fight. He was one of the biggest enemies of Ali Khamenei, and they asked him why they don't just kill him. Then, given that everything he says against many positions of the Islamic Republic, he claimed that he has information on the regime that is devastating to the regime, and he has given it to people that nobody knows, and he has told the regime that if I die, they will release it. And that's the only reason he says that he's safe and they're not killing him. But I mean, I don't know exactly why he says that, but that's among many of the other positions that he's been taking as a way, which is against the positions of the regime.
Gotcha. There you go, if you do. And Jaeger or Jagger Need to explain it to Cenk Uygur like that. He's basically Fred Flintstone, and he's talking about the caveman talk.
Hey, don't
Well,
insult Fred Flintstone. He was pretty okay. I can't just kidding.
you know, Armin, the next time that you might ever come face to face with Cenk Uygur, or maybe next time you look at his videos or something, I think that we should maybe pull this up. Maybe pull this up and say, Cenk Uygur, remember what you tweeted today on June 18th? He said,
you posted it today?
Because he posted it today because this JD Vance has been saying, all of this stuff about Israel. Cenk Uygur says, finally, this is the kind of energy we need from our leaders. I hate to give JD Vance credit, but he's obviously correct here. It's infuriating to see them assume they can boss us around when we're their remaining ally and they owe us everything.
Oh my god.
That's really weird, Cenk, because I thought Israel controlled the United States. Didn't they? Don't the Jews control everything? Don't they?
So what he's saying is that it's good that we're fighting back against their control. That's his point. That they are trying to control us, and it's good that finally is speaking up against the Jews or Israelis.
How come they owe us everything?
How come? Well, I mean, how you're saying? How come they could control? Wait, let me see.
He's saying they owe us everything.
So he thinks they owe us everything because they have been leeching off of United States and been everything that is Israel is because of what they managed to get from United States.
So
through
he's
their
saying
scheming
that
ways.
Israel leeches off the United States, but at the same time, Israel controls the United States.
So they manipulate United States politicians to be able to get them money and military. Even though United States is richer and more powerful, the Israelis, lobby and scheme, and they cannot protect themselves, and Israel wouldn't even be a country. They come and we are a more powerful country, but we have somehow managed to allow Israel to come out and manipulate us into giving them everything. That's what he thinks.
Somehow. Yeah.
I mean, it's an anti-Jewish trope, and he's like, we're not anti-Jewish, but he's like, instead of saying the Jews with their scheming ways from behind the scenes are the puppet masters, instead of saying that, they're just saying Israelis are doing that. And it's basically, but it's the same anti-Jewish tropes that we have had for the past 2,000 years.
Yeah. And Mushjun saying, Telegram section has a special place in my heart.
Yes,
oh, nice.
Mine too. Yes.
Be like, we're going into the Telegram section of the show. Thanks, Mushjun. And Iman USA saying, I'm curious. How convinced are we that these Telegram messages are real and not staged somehow? That would be so difficult. Look, I go and I read through. This is just a Telegram group. Like it's like a.
It's not that big of a deal for their, like, it wouldn't serve much of a purpose for it to be staged. Like, it's not like it's out there. It's not like it has a lot of influence. It's only the only reason why the biggest deal they have ever been is Ali finding them and showing it to us, right? It's not like they get a lot of exposure and their highlights. Like, for example, the things that are getting a lot of attention is Raifipur's comments, or something that is on state TV, or something that is on the newspaper. These comments are not, getting so much exposure and influential for it to make sense for somebody to come in here and make the post. For what reason? Like, what would that achieve? Unless somebody is putting them there for Ali to come and show it here, but I don't think, like, it wouldn't serve anyone's purpose.
It's like people on the street having a conversation, but we can listen in on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but hey, thank you for trying to make sure everything you're not being tricked.
Yeah. Good to be skeptical.
Yes, skeptical. Fleshy Interloper saying those ships may move to other routes. You mean in the Strait of Hormuz? Yeah. So yesterday there was about 20 ships that passed by, but most of them coordinated with the IRGC still. Two of them, only two, passed through the middle of the strait where the minefield is supposed to be. So I don't know what the hell they're doing, but yeah, they got through. So also, fun fact, the ships have been stuck in the Persian Gulf for so long that barnacles and other such things are building on the ships, on where the water line is and under.
Wow.
And there's been a whole business. This business has been booming for people to come and clean them away. And they were charging $5,000 to clean a ship. Okay, these small
That's
businesses.
a steal. $5,000.
But now that the strait is actually opened and the ships know that they can leave, they won't have to like get stuck for an indefinite amount of time and keep paying these people to clear the barnacles. The prices have shot up to $8,000. So it was $5,000.
How do you know this?
But now it's $8,000.
How the hell do you know this?
Yeah,
guys, Ali knows. Ali knows the price of removing barnacles on ships of stuck in the Persian Gulf behind the Strait of Hormuz for some reason.
Yeah.
How do
So
you,
now it's
how do you
$8,000.
know this? Why do you know this?
I don't know. They're like, oh, you guys can leave now. You don't need our services anymore. Okay, well let's just bump up the price by like 60%.
Seriously, how do you know this? What the?
Thanks,
Oh
Fleshy
my
Interloper. I don't know.
I do think that more people need to talk about the poor ship crew. Like, I mean, I'm wondering why there hasn't been a documentary of some YouTubers jumping on these ships and recording these poor. Like, has there been? Like, there should be like some documentary of like, this is day 102. We're stuck. Like, guys, like Iran Revolution Live for all many of the no. How many days has it been? The closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Like, it has been 100 days. No
I think
more
so.
like this.
It's been like 4 months.
At least 2 months.
Yeah.
And all of this time we're talking, and those people are just stuck there. So we should have, like, I don't know, there should have been a documentary about these poor people or like what they're going through. But yeah.
They just dock at ports, they get their supplies, and then they just go and drop the anchor back wherever they were.
Yeah. Still, is it would be interesting to see how their lives changed and go through that.
Yeah. And Arik San saying tolls will speed up projects to bypass the strait. The Persian Gulf Arab countries were going to do that anyway. After this event this year happened with the closure of the strait, they started building pipelines to go around the Strait of Hormuz. So yeah,
the pipelines. They remind me, Ali, what was the capacity of the Strait of Hormuz? Was it 14 billion barrels per day or 24? I forgot.
I don't know.
I think it was 14.
It completely depends.
No. There is a capacity number. I forgot how much
before January.
No, like there's a Strait of Hormuz capacity oil millions of barrels per day. Like, okay. Maybe I had an image. Oh, there we go. No, is that the image I was looking for? Yeah, okay. It was around 24, and I remember the pipeline, the East-West pipeline, was like 7, which is like really, and the pipeline that UAE had was like 1.8. So it's not going to even remotely be close. Like the pipelines, each pipeline is going to be be able to. The pipelines are not going to be able to compete with the capacity that the Strait of Hormuz has.
Yeah, no, never. It'll just lessen the amount of damage the next time it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're building a couple more across Saudi, though, to get to the Red Sea.
Yeah. Guys, there is a reason why maritime trade is the backbone of global economy, right? Because nothing can compete with it. No pipelines, no trucks, no train routes, no plane routes. Nothing could ever compete with the volume of trade that could be done on the sea, right? And this is why the backbone of modern not modern, always, of the global economy is maritime trade. And that's why the US Navy is the security guarantor of the global economy as we know it.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric-san. And you're saying, Prince Ali, I'm continually amazed how clearly you express your ideas and analysis. You have a gift for getting to the heart of an issue so eloquently. Thank you.
Wow.
Appreciate it. So kind.
It's very nice.
Thank you very much,
Every
Leo.
time somebody says Prince Ali to you, that song is now going to be on repeat in my head for a long time.
Thank you so much. Very kind.
There we go. Thank you, Leo. That's very sweet. It's true, though. It's very true.
And Dominic Spencer saying, please explain the IRGC being able to sell oil and make money. Why? The money needs to go into an account for the people. Well, the IRGC would never put that money into an account for the people, ever. I mean, they've spent hundreds of billions building a nuclear weapons program and ballistic missiles and Hezbollah and yeah. But explain the IRGC being able to sell oil and make money. If you want the strait open, you're going to have to make it open for everyone. So they're also going to be able to sell their oil. But here's the thing. The price of oil is going to go down. And the Islamic Republic still has to pretty much sell a lot of their things to China at a discount. And so the amount of money that they're going to make is going down every day when the price of oil also goes down.
Here's the reason why they're doing that. Because there's nowhere else to sell the oil other than letting the Islamic Republic is doing, and then because President Trump needed this. He needed this fall. 16% drop of month over month. This is the reason.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate reason.
I mean, it might be unfortunate, but the more unfortunate would be for the Democrats to completely take over the House and Senate. So that matters. It should matter to us. I think it should matter to us.
Yeah. Think about it this way, Dominic. If the Republicans lose the midterms and then somehow lose the elections and a Democrat president comes into power, the potential for that Democrat president to help the Islamic Republic stay and survive is such a I would rather them be able to sell oil for this period of time than for that to happen. If the Islamic Republic is going to last until the next election and a Democrat comes into power, we're screwed. Oh, I think you got muted.
So let me address this. Somebody saying, why is America still dependent on oil in 2026? America is not. America is an oil exporter. However, oil prices are determined by global supply and demand. So even though United States is an oil exporter, when you decrease the supply of oil globally, oil prices will go up in United States as well. I mean, if by dependent on oil, you mean, they depend on their own oil. Like everybody depends on oil because we still don't have enough alternatives sources of energy to oil, and we're not going to have for a very, very, very long time anything that could replace oil. So If by dependent on oil you mean oil importer, no, they're an oil exporter, but the price of oil is determined by global supply and demand, not just US supply and demand. And if you mean dependent on oil, meaning that America's economy needs oil, every economy needs oil. Like there's literally not a single country out there that doesn't need oil, because everybody needs energy, and oil is a very cheap source of energy. And so far, we haven't had anything that could replace it.
Yeah, well said. And we have Sarato Hosoda, who's saying, what can we do to relieve the suffering of Iranians while all this is going down? Is there a way to get humanitarian relief as part of the negotiations?
So humanitarian relief works for local places and, like smaller population. When you're talking about a country of 90 million people, is you could do economic relief, you could do help like this village or this town, or I don't know, these you could find like a place where there are handicapped people in this town that because of the economic situation they're not being taken care of, or these children over in the city that are missing education on a local level, which is helpful, and to those people. But on a countrywide basis, humanitarian aid does little. Like fundamental economic shifts will move the needle. I'm not against humanitarian relief. I'm just saying the effect would be on certain people within an area, which is helpful. Like, guys, I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't be, if we're only helping a few people, we shouldn't be doing it. Obviously, helping even one person is like, you might have, guys, if you save one person, you might not have changed the world, but you have changed that person's world, right? A lot of people are like, why should I help with this? The world is going to be crappy. I'm like, don't think about fixing the world. Think about fixing one person's entire world, right? And so but if your motivation is to help certain people, which is really nice, then that is obviously helpful. But if you want to help Iran from the suffering, then the solutions are a lot more fundamental, and you need fundamental economic shifts within Iran, and that could only be done when IRGC loses its grip over Iran's economy.
Yeah, that's the that's the unfortunate reality.
But great question. First of all, a great question. And Sadato, you have such a kind heart. I truly admire your heart. Like you inspire me to be a kinder person. You do. You truly do. Every time I see how much you care, I tell myself I want to be more like Sadato.
Yeah, guys, Sarato joins our group discussions, and all of his questions are always, how can we help the Iranian people? Is there anything that we can do? And he asks it like every couple of weeks just to see if there's an update. So we really appreciate you.
Yeah, and Cyrus has the proper answer. If you want to help Iran recover from this, the only solution is regime change.
Agreed. And George Hansen saying, in the pictures, President Pezeshkian is holding two different documents. Oh, the presidents, Trump and Pezeshkian, are holding two different documents. They can't both be the MOU. I think they're in different languages, but also people were saying that there were some different text on both.
I have to double check that. It might be that they had a Persian and an English, and he signed both, and the one that he was holding up was like, maybe he signed the Persian and he was holding up the English. That might be the case. And also, Texas Troops saying the MOU is 2 pages. That's true. It is 2 pages.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
But George, I'll keep an eye on that now that you mentioned.
MCAP is saying, Armin, please ask I-24 not to list your city. Safety.
The thing is that if they do that with everybody and they don't do it with me, it would bring more attention to it. So I don't know if I should do that. Yeah, but thank you so much for being so concerned with my safety. I really appreciate that. You guys are so nice. What
Okay,
did I
Texas
do
Troops
to
is saying-
deserve you guys? What have I done to deserve you guys? You guys are just amazing. I sometimes I love you guys. Okay, so
Oh, and to clarify, Texas Troop is saying they did make sure the Persian / English versions were the same. Okay, it's great.
Well, great to have this information, Texas Troop. You know, you always come. Texas Troop makes us so much better because I'm always looking for her comments. You know, whenever we say something, I know she's looking at things and she's skeptical and she wants evidence. Like every time we're saying something, I'm trying to, I don't always catch it, but but when I do, I'm like, okay, like let's pay attention to her because her commentary makes us so much better. So thank you for all of that addition.
Thank you. And we have Wyatt, who says, interesting. My grandpa was a cowboy who taught me how to dig a pit, fill it up with poo, blood, pee, keep it wet with pee, collect the salt it makes, add it to charcoal and sulfur, and you can remove big rocks. Yes. This is a very old method, 2,000-year-old method, actually.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. You do not want to look. I mean, that pit is not only filled with all that, but even corpses, much more. Yeah, it's quite a thing. Quite a thing.
What if you don't have pee? What if you don't? We ran out of. What if you don't have to pee?
Oh, you do.
Oh, you do.
Okay. Yeah, you can just collect it from animals, and then. Anyway, I didn't. Yeah.
Collect pee from animals.
I'm not endorsing that. I'm not saying do it.
I don't know. Are you sure this is not a satanic ritual? It looks like a satanic ritual.
No, it's actually to collect the salt because salt was so valuable.
Sure. It's the salt. Okay.
And yeah. And oh, sweet. We have some time here. Why don't we go back to the map and show the other couple of things that we had left? All right. Here you go. So we showed you chunky yogurt. Oh, quick little update on Iraq. Today, a pretty big thing is happening. So the new prime minister of Iraq is making some big changes. And by big, I mean, and this is all in Arabic, but I'll just tell you. So 50 generals are being fired, pretty much. They're being forced into retirement. These generals are very pro-terrorist. So there's some changes being happening in Iraq. Ooh. So let's see if if they get fired, what they're going to do. I mean, this is going to cause problems, right? They're not going to just quietly be like, oh, okay, sorry, bye-bye. Yeah, they're being pushed into retirement is the official term, but they're pretty much being fired. So that's Iraq. And I don't know if we want to be angry or not. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's get angry.
Let's get angry? Okay.
All right.
Angry. Well, Tucker Carlson.
Oh my God. Can I take that back? Wait. I regret my decision immediately. No,
Tucker Carlson said something. Oh man, okay. I'm just gonna. It's actually your two favorite people, Armin. It's your two favorite people.
Oh wow!
You ready?
Oh my God! Okay.
Getting ever more unpopular, and I know from speaking to many of my Jewish friends around the world, whether it be London, New York, LA, or further afield, they're all very concerned about this. So this idea that Netanyahu represents what most Jewish people think, for example, I think is for the birds.
I'm not aware of a single Nazi official who was as openly bloodthirsty as Ben Gvir, including Goebbels, who was a nutcase, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
And, they, of course, were all executed. The ones who survived the war were executed at Nuremberg. We don't actually have visibility into what's happened in Gaza because they've murdered so many journalists and no one's allowed in to see it. But we know over 100,000 people have been killed, most of them non-combatants, tens of thousands of women and children.
Getting ever more unpopular.
Okay. Even if you're against Ben Gvir, comparing them to the crimes that the Nazis committed in World War II is insanity. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you not know how numbers work? Also, the so-called journalists were Hamas militants and Hamas propagandists in the middle of a war zone, and Israel never ever targets civilians. Everybody and their cat is calling themselves a journalist in Gaza, running around. People, every time somebody dies, apparently they were a journalist. I don't know. People who die in Gaza, all of a sudden after they die, they realize that it was a pregnant doctor, journalist, I don't know, midget probably, that died in Gaza. That all of a sudden, just calling people who died journalists is a way Hamas tries to increase the cost on Israel, and everybody fucking knows that. Apparently, there are more journalists per square meter in Gaza than anywhere else on the fucking planet. So that's two. So these are journalists, my fucking ass. Also, Israel does more than any other country. The IDF is the most moral army on the planet, and nobody has done more than the IDF to reduce civilian casualties, to try to avoid civilian casualties. So fuck you and your anti-Jewish propaganda. Fuck both of you. And nobody pretends that Netanyahu is the representative of Jewish people worldwide. You guys, that's a straw man. You guys are against Israel because you're anti-Jewish, and being anti-Zionism is being anti-Jewish because Zionism is the right for Jewish people to choose their own destiny. So fuck both of you. You guys decided to jump on the money-making bandwagon of being anti-Jewish. So fuck off.
Yeah, so that was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But why don't we read something on the opposite end that will not make us angry? You ready for that?
Yep.
Okay. So we have this post from Iran International. It's Telegram. And these are statements from people inside of Iran that the Iran International program has chosen to spread. So it's June 18th. This is supposed to be 2026. They always get that wrong when it translates, but these are statements from Iranian people in Iran today. 1. Trump called the IRGC a terrorist group, then made a deal with the same terrorist group and called critics idiots. Mr. Trump, I wish you had waited 30 days to get somewhere. Next. I'm sending a message from Tehran. Every night here, they chant, "We won, we won." Their total population is 20 people. But on the night of January 8th and 9th, it didn't start with Trump, and it didn't end with Trump. Javid Shah. Next one. Dear Trump, you came and destroyed places of oppression, but instead of that, you are giving money that was the money of the people, the blood money, the money of the people's youth, the money of the people's poverty. And we would like to have spent one day on the development of the country to build newer and more equipped centers of oppression. What have you done to the people of Iran? From Arak. In my opinion, these JCPOA 2.0 negotiations will not lead to a conclusion and are merely buying time for the parties. From Tabriz. We, the people, do not want the Islamic Republic. They brought 47 years of misery, high prices, and misery to the people. Enough is enough. We waited a lifetime. We paid a lifetime's price. We also have the right to take a deep breath, live, and have a better future for Iran. Next one. Where is the place of the Iranian people? The place of the immortals, the place of the political prisoners and loved ones who were arrested on January 8th and 9th, and after that, who are being tortured and executed every day in this understanding, in this MOU. Mr. Trump, we are not creditors, but don't compare yourself to Reagan. From Kermanshah, we, the fighting Iranians, had no help from America, but we expected the Pahlavi prince to unite all the nations and tribes with different beliefs so that we could achieve freedom in a nationwide uprising, even if our lives were sacrificed. So keep in mind, guys, Iran International does have to broadcast this in Iran. But it seems like that some Iranians are pretty frustrated, and that's why we went through and covered the MOU. I particularly, though, like this message, that even though the regime supporters on the street are about 20 people, it never began with Trump, and it will never end with Trump. Javid Shah.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yep. And then I told you guys about the rocket attack in Israel that that Hezbollah just launched. Well, this is what it looks like. Cut that out. But yeah, this is what Israel looks like. Northern Israel looks like today. So I don't think Israel's going to sit by and not do anything about that. So the IRGC are going to respond.
Yeah, but no. Israel's hold back. Just let Hezbollah do this and don't respond. Basically, an expectation from no other country.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Should we go through the remaining super chats?
Let's do it.
Okay, I'll get this. I got this. Jew hater with a super chat saying Iran has a right to defend itself. I completely agree with that. That's why we're fighting the Islamic Republic. The main enemy of Iran is the Islamic Republic, and the Iranian people have the right to defend itself against the most anti-Iranian thing in the history of Iran. I completely agree with that. Jew hater, you must be so pissed that I'm so good at responding to your bullshit. Amir, thank you so much for the super chat saying the IDF wallet missed you, Jew hater. Yes, Jew hater. Thank you so much for supporting Zionism. Another comment by the Jew hater saying Zionists lost the narrative war. It's over. The next few years will be brutal. Jew hater, people have been saying that for the past 2,000 years. People hated on Jews and they were against Jews for 2,000 years, and as Jews managed to become stronger and stronger and stronger. In fact, it was the anti-Jewish hate that made them unite and fight back and overcome their enemies. So people have betted against Jews for many years, and they ended up being wrong. The Jews managed to get stronger and destroy their enemies instead. So, yeah. People have been saying that, and they've been wrong, and you will be proven wrong as well. And last comment by Jew hater saying IRGC is the most moral army. They took out terrorists in their country. Honestly, I'm so glad that you're saying that, because that's what I would want. I wouldn't want somebody like you to be on our side and supporting the Iranian people and be against IRGC. Somebody who's a Jew hater, referring to IRGC killing more than 40,000 Iranians in just a few hours as the IRGC killing terrorists is exactly what I would expect from you. And it basically is a confirmation that we're on the right side of history. When if somebody who was a proud Jew hater was supporting our cause, I would be concerned. So thank you for being wrong. And then we have Ehef for the super chat saying, assuming we get the enriched uranium, we need to move it out of Iran by flooding the skies of Iran with American cargo and transport planes alongside Iranian planes. Really drive that loss. Wait, what Ali, do you understand this question? I didn't understand it.
What Iranian planes? They don't really have any left. Really drive that loss in. I mean, here's the thing, like, even if you wanted to flood the skies with American planes as a show of force, only so many people are going to see that in a country of 90 million people. But if you get a video, but if you get some statements, everyone's going to see that. Everyone's going to, and they know exactly what that means. I think that's what we need to really drive that loss in.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. It's gonna be it's gonna be hard to hide that for sure. Sarah, thank you so much for the super chat saying, "Love you, brothers. We continue to fight." Javid Shah. Yes, Sarah, thank you so much. Yes, we continue to fight. We will keep fighting. Yeah, Javid Shah. And Jew hater with the super chat saying, "No one said Jews. We said Zionists." Oh yeah, sure. Saying even majority of young Jews despise Israel. First of all, that is not true. Look at the polls, you fucking retard. I mean, don't look at the polls. You wouldn't understand them because you're not smart enough to understand polls. Also, you think we forgot that you directly attacked Jews in your super chats before? We're not as stupid as you. We remember how you directly you had comments against Jews themselves. You think we forgot about that? Okay, we're not as stupid as you. And thank you for supporting Zionism again. But let me trigger you a little bit. I'm Israel Chai, motherfucker. I'm Israel Chai. Thank you so much for funding Zionism. And then Abigail with a super chat saying there are more Zionists on earth today than ever in history. Exactly. Yes, for sure. And it's only getting started. This is only the beginning. Israel is getting more and more powerful every year. Look at their economy, look at their industries, look at their technology, look at their military, look at their entrepreneurship, look at their finance, look at their businesses, look at the drive of the people, look at the level of the education. Israel, guys, Israel has its best days ahead of it. And it's only getting stronger. There's Israel's future is bright. And thank you, Abigail. Thank you for your support. You're muted.
Thank you, Abigail. We have a 54-second clip of President Trump that I would like to share. A little interesting. So let's take a listen.
Not just the exercise of power, but the
Can we slow this down? Maybe make it half speed.
what have you learned about?
Okay, yeah.
Wait,
75. Because they put it in double speed.
What have you learned about not just the exercise of power, but the limits on your power?
Okay, never mind. We're just going to play at the normal 1 times.
Yeah.
So what have you learned about the limits of power or your exercise of power?
What have you learned about not just the exercise of power, but the limits on your power as a result of the conflict?
There are no limits.
No limit.
No, I haven't learned that lesson yet. I know there are, but there are no limits. We defeated them totally militarily. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. Who else could have done a blockade like that? I did a naval blockade where not one ship was able to get through. Some tried. They didn't, it didn't last very long.
And it certainly brought Iran to the table more than before. However, beginning a conflict, you had talked about you only wanted unconditional surrender. And the MOU doesn't look like unconditional surrender.
Well, it really probably is unconditional surrender.
It is?
I think so.
Okay, he said some interesting things. It probably is unconditional surrender. And the first question was, what have you learned about the limits of power? He said, there are no limits. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah. That was good.
Well,
yeah. So let me see this. I actually have this ready. Okay. We got one more super chat, which I love. All right. So let me look at this 1 second. Okay. So Jew hater is saying a nation of 9 million needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation. So because he said that, I went and looked at the reality of the situation, right? So Israel's defense industry is seeing unprecedented global demand right now, right? So all-time high exports. In June 2026, Israel reported to record 19.2 billion in defense exports for 2025, up nearly 30% from the previous year. We have over 53% of these deals were mega deals worth over $100 million each. Air defense rockets and missile systems accounted for 29% of all defense exports. And then we have Israel has a high-tech sector, which is the economic engine of Israel. And even with geopolitical challenges, tech remains Israel's one of the strongest pillars and the engine behind this economic growth. So, and there is export dominance. High-tech exports generated a record of 85 billion now, accounting for a massive 58% of Israel's total exports. The tech sector saw a 30% jump in capital raising, bringing in nearly $15 billion alongside a record of $84 billion in exits. And then we have, in just the first quarter of 2026, Israel tech companies raised another $3.3 billion. And then we have the population. So if you actually compare Israel's economy to most other developed countries, you can see that the GDP growth is outpacing projected growth from both of US and EU. So Israel's GDP growth is more than the United States and the EU, right? And it's actually one of the highest ones in developed countries. Usually when the countries get this advanced and this rich, their GDP slows down. So among richer, more developed countries, Israel has one of the highest. GDP per capita in Israel is projected to reach 69,800, keeping the average wealth and purchasing power of citizens among the top 15 developed nations globally. So, and also from technology wise, it maintains the second highest startup density in the world and hosts over 400 multinational R&D centers, including Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Intel. And Israel currently ranks as the world's 9th largest arms exporter and has transitioned into a major regional energy player following massive natural gas discoveries and export deals. So from a demographic perspective, it's very interesting. The population is growing, so it's not 9 million. It's recently surpassed 10 million, which is very interesting because unlike most developed nations, which have a problem with shrinking workforce, Israel maintains a steady youth pipeline. So it's interesting because Israel, even while being surrounded by her enemies, has managed to grow its economy faster than other developed countries. And even though it's constantly under pressure and being attacked, it maintains a youth population growth, unlike other developed countries, which have a shrinking workforce. It's absolutely like, guys, if you believe in God, this looks like a miracle. How could you be surrounded by so many millions of people that hate you, that are constantly attacking you, and grow your economy this fast? And even after you become a developed and rich country, you outcompete other developed countries in population growth and in GDP growth. It's unbelievable what Israel is able to do. And Israel is predicted to become more and more powerful in the next 10, 20, and 50 years. So I think it's Jew haters that need to wake up and smell reality instead, because you're fucked. Because you spent your entire life fighting Israel, and Israel will humiliate you. Just like I just humiliated you right now. And then yeah, go on.
We have some breaking news, but we should read this and then
okay.
I'll tell you guys.
Okay. Oh yeah. Let me read that then. Jose with a super chat saying, my biggest concern with the MOU is the Islamic Republic is selling oil that will give IRGC ability to pay its soldiers and besiege to suppress the Iranian people. Yes, so the blockade removal will give that ability to the Islamic Republic, but that is in exchange for the Strait of Hormuz being open, which gives the President Trump the ability to bring oil prices down in the United States, which is required to, reduce the ability of the Democrats to take over in the midterms, which is necessary for trying to avoid President Trump losing too much control over what he could do against the Islamic Republic, right? So that's why that's necessary, because if the Democrats take too much control, the limitation of what President Trump could do to the Islamic Republic would be a more big of a deal compared to the cost of that. The reality is, though, that the Islamic Republic is never going to be able to recover from the damage that President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu inflicted upon them, one. And two, the blockade removal is being done at the same time with the Hormuz Strait being open, which basically we now have established that blocking the Strait of Hormuz is not an efficient way for the Islamic Republic to show that it has leverage, because United States could anytime they want to do that, just put their blockade back on. So effectively, we have shown that the Islamic Republic doesn't have much leverage over the Strait of Hormuz, because even if they're removing the blockade could be put back on if the Islamic Republic ever wants to close the Strait of Hormuz. And we'll get one more super chat, and then we'll go to Ali's breaking news. And Karen is saying, God calls the Jews the apple of his eye. I'm never surprised to see how God continues to bless them and protect them. So I respect you having that view, but I like to I hope you don't get offended, Karen. Me as an atheist, so I'm not like poo-pooing your views, but I just also want to tell you how I see it. As an atheist, I give the credit to the Jewish peoples themselves and their ability to their resilience and their hard work and their intelligence, instead of a deity. To me, again, I know you guys would disagree with me, but to me, giving credit to supernatural forces is taking credit away from the people responsible for making all of this happen. But that's just my view. I like to give the credit to the people who made this happen. Right. But yeah, go on, Ellie.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news. And it's not very good breaking news. So it seems that the terrorist group known as Hezbollah today has conducted an attack that has resulted in the death of 4 Israeli soldiers and multiple more wounded. And Israelis news channels are calling this a very difficult incident in Lebanon, one of the most challenging that Israel has ever faced. Very complex. Fighters are on their way to the hospital. It seems like 4 have already been essentially incinerated, it's saying. So it seems like Israel is going to hit back very, very hard. And at the same time, according to Fars News, the Islamic Republic of Iran has suspended its entire 60-day negotiation period with the United States over the direct violation of the MOU's first clause, which is that Israeli attacks on southern Lebanon have constituted a breach in less than 24 hours after the MOU was signed. Iran will not unilaterally fulfill its commitments until it's assured that Israeli attacks on Lebanon have stopped. Okay, so there you go.
That didn't last long. Go fuck these motherfuckers up, Israel.
Yeah.
Go fuck these motherfuckers up. Do what you do best. Light these motherfuckers on fire. I honestly, if after these soldiers dying, if anybody comes and tells Israel to hold back, I don't know what to say. Guys, please let me know if you agree with me in the chat. and nobody should come and tell Israel to hold back now after their soldiers died for the sake of a fucking MOU, right?
Rest in peace. Yeah.
And I'm so sorry to hear that for Israelis here in the chat. I'm so sorry for your loss.
So that is definitely going to draw a response, in my opinion. So I think Hezbollah is being hit at the moment. They're actually being lit up with airstrikes. But I think there's going to be an even harsher response than what we're seeing tonight.
Just light that place on fire.
Okay, so the MOU has been put on pause, according to the Islamic Republic. By the way,
so
Hezbollah fired first.
Of course, always, every fucking time, Israel has, guys. I say this, and you could challenge me on this. Israel has never started a war. Never has Israel started a war. Israel has always responded to people who want to kill Jews. And they responded very well. And I expect tomorrow, in the next 24 hours, we're going to see Israel responding the way they know best. This is what Israel is good at. Israel is best at killing terrorists. So hopefully we'll see that displayed in the next 24 hours.
And additionally, remember who gives Hezbollah orders? It's the IRGC. So the IRGC is giving Hezbollah orders to fire into Israel. They just killed 4 Israeli soldiers. And now that the Israelis are responding, the Islamic Republic of Iran has come out and said, you broke the clause. We're not talking anymore.
Yep, that didn't last long.
If this gets blown up, if they don't try to cover this up and just keep on going, this is going to blow up in JD Vance's face like nothing has. In less than 24 hours after he comes out and says all of these things, Ghalibaf came out less than 24 hours and said, we're going to get revenge on the Jews. For the MOU to suddenly break apart like this and be put on suspended terms, yeah, that's not going to look good. It's not going to look good at all for the U.S. Guys, if this is blown up.
Yeah. I hope that we don't, really hope that we don't get any statements from the White House asking Israel to hold back, because that would not be something that I could come and, explain away.
Yeah. Man. No, that was very fast. That was very quick.
Again, guys, one more time, I'm sorry, Israelis. I'm so sorry for your loss. Just know that your enemy is going to have a much harder time than you are, because Israel always delivers when it comes to responding to people, to all of its enemies. Just know that. Abigail was saying, Armin, as a Jew, or Jewess, is saying, maybe the love we bring together is what we call God, that power, not a religion thing. Humans just make it so. As an atheist, if people call something that I know exists God, then I do believe in that God. Like, for example, some people call mathematics God. Well, then I believe in that God, because mathematics is a real thing. Some people call, love God. If you call love God, then I believe in that God, because love is real, and you just call it love God. Some people believe, I mean, some people call the entire nature, all reality God. So I believe in that God. It's just something that I know exists. If you label it as God, well, I know, well, then that God exists because nature does exist, right? So Abigail, if you're calling love, the love that brings us together, God, then I do believe in your God because I know love is a real thing. So yeah. The reason why I call myself atheist is because the God that I don't believe is like a self-aware, conscious creator and manager of the universe. That's the most common definition of a God. So that's what I don't believe in. But I do believe in your God. Yeah. And Fleshy Interloper, thank you so much for the super chat saying blockade better go back on. Well, Ali, what do you think?
It better. But here's the thing. Trump and Vance and the administration have been slightly appeasing the regime in the past couple of days with the words what they've been saying. So if they come out and say, oh, that this was not a big deal and that we're going to keep on talking, man, that is so hard to defend. Because like people like me and you know that the IRGC give Hezbollah orders. The Hezbollah shot rockets into Israel. They conducted operations in Israel today. They killed Israeli soldiers. There's more wounded. And Israel will respond to Hezbollah. They already have. They're already airstriking. Now they're going to hit even harder. The IRGC won't sit by and watch Hezbollah get hit. That means that they're going to hit Israel directly. The IRGC is going to hit Israel directly, which means that Israel is going to respond to the IRGC. President Trump today said that they will continue to defend Israel in terms of interceptors, and they will back them against the IRGC if Iran attacks them. What was the point of the MOU? If you know, what was the point? So there's a chance here that Trump might call this not a big deal.
If the Islamic Republic, puts away the MOU, then the whole MOU did nothing for the Islamic Republic other than psychological and reputational and ideological damage. So we just signed an agreement, and Islamic Republic got nothing out of it other than division and infighting and embarrassment.
But all the ships are still there. Here's what I'm thinking. The oil hasn't been gotten out yet.
So I don't think the U.S. is going to. So this might be what happens, right? Israel responds in Lebanon, and Hezbollah responds. The Islamic Republic gets involved. The Islamic Republic says the MOU is off, starting attacking commercial ships. And then if that happens, the block. If all of this happens, then hopefully the U.S. is like, okay, the blockade is back on.
Blockade is back on, and we bomb them. Trump literally said that. He did say that.
Look at this. Look at this idiot. This person آمریکا هیچ غلطی نمیتونه بکنه. رهبرتون رو گایید رفت. رهبرتون رو کشی داری میگی. As these pro-regime people are so retarded. Oh my God, I love that though. رهبرت هنوز یخچال اسکل. Okay, that's us. So the next 24 hours is going to be very bumpy.
Yeah, that's what we're going to look for. We're going to see what President Trump says about this after Israel responds. If Israel responds and President Trump says, oh, Israel, don't do that. You shouldn't be doing that. It's a very tough position to defend at all. In fact, I don't think we will be defending or trying to defend it at all. Quite the opposite.
We might get pleasantly surprised by President Trump's statement. Like, no, let's not, assume the worst. President Trump might come. The best, guys. Here's the best thing that could happen. President Trump comes and says, "Yeah, Israel, go get them, and we're with you, and we're gonna come and fuck these people up with you. But we're gonna be right by your side." That would be the most wholesome thing to hear tomorrow from President Trump.
Armin, how crazy is it that we've reached a point in politics or geopolitics that we don't know what the president of the United States is going to say when, like, about this? We're not completely sure what he's going to say. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, that is not rare. I think actually I think if you look at it historically, that's actually mostly the norm.
Really?
Yeah.
That-
man.
Well, like, I don't know if he's going to say, "Oh, this isn't a big deal. Let's keep talking," or if he's going to be like, "Okay, IRGC, that's it. We're going to bomb you."
I mean, people not. I mean, President Trump isn't the first leader that has been hard to read. You know, that is a strategy in geopolitics.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a strategy. I mean, he's been doing that this entire time. I just think it's interesting. But I thought about it and I was like, oh my God, I don't know.
Oh.
He could come out and say like, oh, that's not a big deal. Or he could be like, that's a big deal.
این نگاه این میگه خامنه‌ای فقط جوان شد خامنه‌ای گی شد خامنه‌ای جوان شد گی شد بدون دست و پا شد دیدی ریدی اوکی اصلا اولیش هم گی بود دیدی ریدی دیدی ریدی اوکی اینجا نیا اعصابتو بدجوری خورد میکنم با من در نیا بدجوری میرینم بهت
Oh man. Okay, we'll
Guys,
find out in the next
pro-regime
24 hours.
pro-regime people are so fun to mess with. I love them. Just messing with their head.
Oh wait, one second. Wait, could this be? Could Ghalibaf still profit from this if the U.S. comes and does limited strikes? Doesn't Ghalibaf actually win in this situation?
Why?
So he called for the hitting of the Jews, right? The liberation of Jerusalem, killing the Jews. Hezbollah starts attacking the Jews at the IRGC's command. Jews die. Then if America comes and strikes, they won't kill Ghalibaf. And Ghalibaf keeps the threat of American military power.
Oh, you're saying Ghalibaf could be...
And if he doesn't, and
yeah,
if the Americans don't strike, he also
okay.
wins.
So Ghalibaf might want the Americans to stick around because if they leave, then IRGC would eliminate him.
But even if the Americans don't strike, he also wins because what he said was coming true. They're hitting the Jews, or at least America didn't do anything about it.
The Jew killing thing is about trying to make people hold back for later. Right,
but America won't strike. The regime just came out and said the MOU's off.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump said if the MOU's off, we're going to go back to bombing. And if the Americans don't bomb them, Ghalibaf's going to be like, look at me, look at me, I'm the man.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. They're scared of. Oh, okay, yeah. Now I see what you're saying. They're scared of us.
So he's in a win-win situation, isn't he?
Yeah, you know what? Ghalibaf being in a win-win situation, it doesn't matter to us. Our obstacle is IRGC. If Ghalibaf is successful against the IRGC, we could, the Iranian people could deal with that later. I think our priority should be what the IRGC situation is, right? If other people get the upper hand over the IRGC, that is technically us moving in the right direction. Like if Ghalibaf is successful in disarming IRGC, eventually the Iranian people will have their uprising and Ghalibaf wouldn't be a challenge to them, right?
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Anyways, we need to go. But let's just read this. Sarah with the super chat saying Khamenei is literally Kalapache on. Sarah, why are you ruining Kalapache for me? Stop it. I wish that I did not read that. Ew. Gross. Ew. I'm never gonna look at Kalapache ever the same ever again. You actually managed to make Kalapache gross for me for first time. All right, guys, we're going to go. We're already late. thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, we'll see tomorrow a lot of terrorists being, lit. We'll see the Israel's response. Hopefully, nobody will try to stop them. And I'm sure by tomorrow, but next time when we come with Ali, we're going to see hopefully a lot of impressive reactions by Israel against her enemies. That's what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. So look out for that. There's going to be a bumpy 24 hours, and that means we're going to have a lot of stuff to go over next time we're here. So make sure you
Yes.
subscribe and hit the bell notification so that when you're back, we'll get to talk about all of that. All right.
Usually
guys.
these strikes happen right when we're live.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm Israel Chai.
I'm Israel Chai.
Slava Ukrainian,
Ukrainian.
especially today. Cuba
Cuba
Libre.
Libre. Long live
Long
America.
live America.
Javicha.
Javicha
Payande.
Payande
Iran.
Iran. See you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.